Tommy with us, and Tommy is on the hotline.
That'd be the CarX Tire and Auto Hotline.
Rattle, rattle, thunder, clatter, boom, boom, boom.
Gary, come in here.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
Good morning, Tommy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, Tommy. How are you? Good to talk to you. Okay.
Good to talk to you as well.
Tommy, we want to ask you about the story regarding Mike Gundy, the head coach for Oklahoma State, the man who said, and you coined it as well.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
Remember when you used to do that?
I did.
Yes.
I still do it.
Even
17 years later.
Yes,
the best.
I was going to say, running back Ollie Gordon II was arrested for driving with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.11%. And Gundy on Big 12 Media Days, by the way, in Vegas.
How cool is that?
Makes sense,
He has
right?
Vegas hair too, Jonathan.
He does.
Did you see the
It looks horrible.
picture of him?
Yes.
Horrible.
Very suspiciously dark hair from Mike Gundy. Talked about this when it comes to Gordon. Listen.
College football is changing, we all know. And we can say these guys aren't employees, but they're really employees. These guys get paid a lot of money, which is fine. But there needs to be a side to what they do that they have to be able to, for lack of a better term, face the music and own up to things. And when I looked at it, I thought, okay, I'm going to be real honest with myself first, and then make the best decision for what I think's good for Ollie, our university, and our team. And then I start thinking about being a parent. I have a 28, I have a 23, and a 19. And first I thought, okay, so I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal limit? Like in Oklahoma is 0.08, and Ollie was 0.1. So I looked it up, and it was based on body weight. Not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really 2 or 3 beers or 4. I'm not justifying what Ollie did. I'm telling you what decision I made. Well, I thought I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life. And I, it's just fine. So I got lucky. People get lucky. Ollie made a decision that he wished he could have done better.
I just heard an open microphone, Mike Gundy saying that he's driven drunk 1,000 times.
Yeah, that's not
Here's
good.
Tom Waddle. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the message you have to have, look, you can have whatever message you want, but then you're going to face consequences of how people will view you and how they will evaluate you. I think the message from my perspective is yes, I will admit I've done the same thing at times. I'm not I'm not proud of it. The answer here is don't ever drink and get behind the wheel. It's not, all you're doing is you're inviting trouble. And I think that's the message. I don't think the message is we should tolerate it because we've done it, gotten away with it, and we got lucky. You don't want to get lucky. You know what I'm saying?
Because it could be a tragic ending.
Yeah, I just think it's a bad message. Listen, Mike Gundy kind of marches to the beat of his own drummer anyway, and he'll have to deal with the repercussions of what he said. But I think the message to young adults, listen, I've got 31, 20, 28, 26, and 20, and my message to them is don't, if you have a drink, call an Uber. And these kids, I get, and again, I'm not getting on a high horse because I made the mistake myself, have done it too often in the past as well, and by that I mean had a beer or two and gotten in the car, and so I'm not taking my own advice. But these kids are getting millions of dollars in NIL money, right? I mean, this kid's a fantastic player. He's got the resources. Call a limousine. Call an Uber. These days too, with the amount of money that's flowing into these programs, you should have. If I was Oklahoma State, I'd have a car service on speed dial for all of my players.
I had a player, current NFL player, tell me that he has a card from the NFLPA.
Yes, I think they do have that card.
And he said, you call the number on there.
Yep.
And, yeah, this is John from the car service.
They come get you.
Hey, I'm at Mother's on Division, and I've had way too much to drink.
Yep.
They will pick you up, no charge. They will drive you home, and they don't tell the team.
Right.
It's confidential.
There's confidential.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's a good point, Cap. I had forgotten that actually the NFL does have that. I think college football should have the same. So I guess, Jonathan, the thing I'm saying is look, I don't want to be, perceived as speaking out of, whatever, two sides of my mouth. I've made the mistake as well and shouldn't have done it. I don't,
But you don't now. You're much different.
No, yeah. I mean, right. But my message would be don't do what I did. Don't make the mistakes I did, as a parent, as, someone who's got some age on them. The answer isn't, hey, you know what? You got lucky, call somebody, call an Uber, call, a car service, call something.
I would guess from my standpoint, if you're Mike Gundy, if it's not out there that people know that you've driven drunk 1,000 times, I don't know if I'd bring it up as an antidote.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do that.
Point.
What I would say is that, hey, look, we all make mistakes. This young man has to learn from those mistakes. I don't justify it by saying, well, I looked on my phone, I checked out the percentage based on body weight. And let me tell you, I've gotten away with it 1,000 times. I've driven drunk. I could have killed somebody. No big deal. Here's why there will be no ramifications. And by the way, since we've talked about this, there's a statement, Cap, that it doesn't necessarily rectified it, but kind of explained his thoughts, Gundy.
Correct.
On what he said. He's entitled to what he wants, Tom, because if he was fired by Oklahoma State, and I'm not calling for that, but if he was fired from Oklahoma State, he'd be picked up in a second. Mm-hmm. And so from Oklahoma State's standpoint, it's Mike Gundy. He's been around the program. What he said was reckless, but there will be no ramifications to Mike Gundy. Absolutely not.
No. Look, that would be my guess. Mike Gundy was a player there, Jonathan. Like I was going to say before his
whole life's been there.
Before the conversation got really serious and important. When I was in school, I bet you, Jonathan, because I know you're good at these memory issues, I bet you can guess his top receiver in college. And we were in college at the same time. So when you would check stats on Sunday mornings in the newspaper, because you didn't have access to anything else as a college player, one of his top receiver was a guy I'd always follow to see where I was in line with the top receivers in the country. He was drafted 20th overall, I believe, by the New England Patriots back in 1989.
89. No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Hartley Dykes.
Oh, Hartley Dykes originally signed at Illinois.
Yeah.
Hartley Dykes went to Illinois as the #1 recruit in the country.
Yeah.
And then transferred.
Yep. And I believe he was Gundy's top receiver going back to the days of when Gundy was quarterback back at Oklahoma State. I'm not trying to, veer the conversation away from it. But the point is, yes, I think he's been there. Jonathan, he played there from 89. He's my age. He's been there his entire life. I don't think that they're going to punish him in any way, but I would hope that he would come back out and say, look, I said what I said, but the message going forward is we have access to make sure these student athletes are safe, and if you find yourself in a compromised situation, here's a number to call. Someone will come and get you, and there will be confidentiality attached to it.
By the way, Hartley Dykes, he was selected in the first round, 16th overall. Career cut short after 2 seasons when he fractured his kneecap and an eye injury that occurred during a barroom fight involving teammate Irving Fryer in 1990.
Yeah.
In 1989, he was also drafted by the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
How about that?
He's a great player.
How about that? And Tommy put his arms up when he heard that story. He's like, yep, better than you, pal.
No, I did
better
not
than
say
you.
that.
Yeah.
My numbers are way better than yours.
I win. Tom, you ever wear a walking boot just because?
No.
Because that's what Dak Prescott's doing now. He says, it's just precautionary. He goes, I'm fine. I like to put on this boot every now and then.
I would think, Jonathan, that would cause you issues because it then compromises you in other areas. Then you would become, dependent on the boot and the support that it gives you. That sounds really weird. Is this some sort of contract negotiation ploy? I don't know. I don't know why he's got the boat or why the boot would be. I don't have any idea. I don't know what he's doing.
All right, Tommy, hang on because we want to ask you about a couple of free agents the Bears are
being
lay
off of
linked
Jack.
to.
Will you quit busting Jack's balls? He's
Jack
a good
who?
young kid.
Jack who?
Jack, the guy in your booth over there.
Oh, this
Jack
Jack.
McGrath.
Pottinger.
AI Jack.
AI Jack.
Yes.
That's what we
It's Jack McGrath.
Yeah, not Jack
aware.
Pottinger. That's Justin Pottinger.
I'm aware. That's smoke.
You just failed your fellow employee exam.
I know all of them. Yes.
It's got to be on your 12Q.
Let's play a Cahoots.
Do you have a best friend at work?
Would you go to break, please?
No, we'll be right back.